bit of that Charleston down before I got into business. Here's a letter to Adolf Hitler. Dear Adolf Hitler, I don't know if you will read this letter, but I sure hope you drop what you are doing and listen in. There is no need to introduce yourself, since you are already notoriously known as the leader of fascist policies in Germany and its surrounding countries. I have also read my newspapers, books, and listened to the radio to better understand the life you live. I am writing to you to advocate change in your use of power based on your beliefs, but more so on the actions you take on human life. I believe my words will give you a new perspective on life and respect for humanity. Let me begin by introducing myself in a manner in which you are certainly familiar with. My name is Josephine Baker. I am Creole, American, and a French woman who was born in St. Louis, Missouri, and am a civil rights activist. A layer of my identity is race and politics, but I comprise of so much more. I am a singer, a dancer, who grew fame in France, whose songs I'm sure you've heard in the political position you are in, and which deep down inside you mildly enjoy. I have introduced myself out of respect, but if there was no need for me to do so, well then, I certainly have come a long way. Adolf, I do not mean this letter to be offensive. I would simply like for you to take on a different perspective of the world and realize that together, each of us here are one. Growing up in the slums of Missouri, there were many times my anger could kill all the whites who made our people suffer. However, I took those negative actions and converted them into positive movements for today and for the future world we will live in for our children and great-grandchildren. I have been rejected and shunned by the United States, but that has not stopped me from doing what I love in a positive light. Hate does not attract love. Only love can bring love. Humanity cannot help from being biased or racist in their minds, but they can control their actions. We are human beings. It is normal to stereotype and group individuals. It is our necessity to feel comfortable within our niche. I don't aim to change your beliefs, but I aim to change your actions. We have to look at our surroundings every once in a while, because if we don't, we will become ignorant individuals, such as yourself, who can only take one path towards a solution. Living in a bubble will not save Germany, nor save you. We have our differences, but we also are more similar than one judgment can ever determine. Our races are different. I am a black woman, and you are a white man. Our beliefs on politics are on opposite ends of the stick. You perform racist acts, and I promote integration and equality. You believe that blonde hair and blue eyes is the perfect race, while I believe that all races living in harmony are the perfect race. Mein Kampf, as you would say, or my struggle. We both have suffered at a young age, losing one of our parents, living in poverty and striving to make life. Through the collected knowledge I know of you, I have learned that painting was something you enjoyed to do and weren't encouraged to do. Instead, you have taken your passion for German nationalism and have used it in a destructive way rather than a proactive way. It's time for you to reflect on your beliefs and actions towards anti-Semitism and realize the damage you have done in creating this perfect race. 6 million people of the Jewish religion have been sentenced to death by your order. You often mention God in your writings, but none of your acts are good deeds. The Bible verse, Matthew 12:48-50 states, "For whoever does the will of my Father in heaven is my brother and sister and mother." Regardless of our background, we are family. My message to you is to initiate a difference in your life. I would like you to realize that our common strife and our milestones ultimately make us siblings from a different race, ethnicity, and culture. We are one. Anti-Semitism. I have used my power as a performing artist to advocate the civil rights movement. With your power, you can give the people of Germany the emotional and financial strength they need after their loss of World War II without taking away the lives of innocent human beings. All humans, despite of race, religion, culture, should have the right to live and the right to have a voice. Making a perfect race based on physical characteristics is shallow and doesn't determine the value of an individual. One's identity is more than just their hair, skin, eye color. Their identity comprises of their soul, of who they are inside. You probably think I am foolish for adopting 8 children of different countries. These children, regardless of where they come, are learning to become a family, looking past their physical traits and loving each other as brothers and sisters should. They are my rainbow tribe, and they will learn to love each other, looking past their distinct characteristics. The voice of a respectable human being is amidst the pages you are reading. People listen to my music, and people see me Charleston, and behind the curtain there's a black woman with nappy hair, who I am proud to say is me. I've been called a Negro wench because I wear short fringe skirts and dance topless. I became famous for my banana dance, dancing with only a skirt made out of bananas. This is part of my identity, and I have learned to embrace it. As soon as you embrace who you are, the world will embrace you too. That is why it is so important to portray your identity's wise and positive acts, because it reflects on the rest of the world. I am a respectable human being because I have granted entertainment to many, and I have also provided a home to many. And the more unrighteous acts you commit, the more trouble you are making yourself, Mr. Hitler. Instead of taking your struggles out on others, why don't you make a better world for them so they don't have to live with the discontent you live your life with? Your anti-Semitism will not be successful because today your blonde and blue-eyed individual can be a Christian today and a Jew tomorrow. Mr. Hitler, a peaceful world is not about having similar people inhabit the world. Peace is when different people come together and learn how to live and share the same world. You are a very smart man. I can see it in the way you have power at the palm of your hand. You have a way with order in which everyone follows your command. With all the power and intelligence you have, you ought to be using using it for good rather in a spiteful or evil manner. You are making children suffer in concentration camps, leaving their homes for good with little or no possessions. It's tremendously sad because you do not have mercy on these families. You are ruining, but once it hits home, you'll be crying. In this your way of seeking revenge on others, silently killing people in gas chambers, I sing and use my body language to let go of my sorrows. You kill to muffle your sorrows, but that won't ever set them free. I feel for you, Mr. Hitler. Even with the millions of lives you've taken, I feel for you. Because now you're trapped. You've got Paris, Japan, London fighting against you, and now you're cornered off. You've held campaigns for abstinence from smoking, drinking, and meat. But what about abstinence against prejudice and slaughter? I am not perfect. I have broken rules, and I have gone against the law. But there is no such thing as one race being the perfect race. An example of this is yourself and myself. You and I are a perfect product of an imperfect race. But at the same time, our imperfections are what make us human, which in turn is the actual perfect race. In search of personal content, you have killed 6 million Jews. 6 million innocent lives who had every right and chance to live. Your contributions have scared people instead of inspiring them. It's time for you to care of the crucially extreme changes you have caused those inhabiting your country and surrounding it. I invite you to come back to terms to when you were happy. Paint a bit and put a halt to all of this madness you are attracting yourself to. I'll be in France whenever you would like to stop by and for some theatrical entertainment. This letter is my hand reaching out to you. Take down the swastika, your dictator badge, and reveal your true self. I'm sure you were once a son who loved, and now a husband who loves. Find the deeper layers of identity apart from physical characteristics. Read these words and think again. Who is a respectable human being? The perfect race. Sincerely, Josephine Baker. Now, let's get back to that Charleston.